Okay, I think I am live. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, and we're live tonight, folks. How's everybody doing? Good to see everybody tonight. Checking in. Appreciate everybody dropping by. Let's see if I can get a share this a little bit. All right. Good to see everybody tonight. We're going to be talking fishing tonight. We're going to be talking bass fishing. We're going to be talking kayak fishing. And if anybody does any of that, just jump on here and comment. If you got any questions or comments, just type them in there, and we're going to talk a little fishing and kayaks and all kinds of stuff tonight. Stephen Guthrie, how you doing? Good to see you. Get a few more people on here. Comments, just type them in there. And, all right, who's been fishing lately? Anybody get out this weekend and did you do any good while you was out there? I did not get out there this weekend. I did one day last week, and I didn't do too terribly bad. It just took me most of the afternoon to to figure out what they were doing. I think I've got a... see if I can, You guys on here to say, hey, can you guys hear me okay? I'm not sure. Should be able to. Lord's willing, gonna crack some tubes after work. Well, that's good. Tube's a good pre-spawn bait. I know here on Pickwick, where I mostly fish, the water's been up and down and dirty and clean, and weather's been up and down. So it's been a timing deal there. If you hit it right, you're killing them, and if you don't, you just ain't doing too good. I know some guys that are absolute hammers, and they've not been catching them, and I know some guys that are, have been just killing them on Pickwick. But here lately, the bite's been up and down. For me, last week when I went, bite was slow until the end of the day, and then it kind of picked up. But it took me a while to figure them out. So hopefully I'll get out there this weekend again and give them another try. Good to see everybody on tonight. If you guys got any questions or comments, what's your guys, some of your guys' best pre-spawn baits? I know right now on Pickwick, I don't think the spawn's really kicked in yet. It's been a little slower than we would all like, I believe. They're starting to raise the water up slowly, so that should make the bite improve over the next few weeks. Next few weeks here on Tennessee River should start to pick up even more. I know if you get on a little flurry, you can fill the boat. I know that on the this weekend it was really good up there for some folks. Crappie's really biting right now. I know some guys that have caught just unbelievable amounts of crappie in one particular spot. You know, they could sit in one spot and catch their limit. I know they had the Jared Mann tournament this weekend, and there was some really big weights caught. So I think they had a really good tournament. Stevie Guthrie, have you got to go catch some of those giant smallies they're catching? I have not got a chance to get up that way yet. I'm hoping this weekend that I will. They've been catching some really nice smallmouth. There's a couple of guys actually that I follow on YouTube and Instagram, and from this past weekend, they really caught them really good up there. I'm not sure what they were using, but the smallmouth, they were really on them, and they were really catching them. I know there's a guy, I'm not sure of his exact name, but on Instagram, he is Alabama Bass Guide. I think that's the right one. And there's a YouTuber called Smallmouth Crush. And I saw those guys fishing together this past week, and they were really catching them good. And I've not got a chance to reach out to those guys and kind of ask. I think they were up around the Mussel Shoals in Florence area. If I had to guess, it would be on swim baits and jerk baits, which I haven't got a chance to get up to the Mussel Shoals area this year yet. I hope to pretty soon. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks I will. Chris Hatton, sweet, love the EC show. I'm glad you like it, Chris. Who's been catching fish? You guys comment below if you've been really doing good. I need all the help I can get. I've been struggling this year so far. My trips to Pickwick has been few and far between, so I hadn't been up there with any regularity to kind of keep on the pulse of what's going on. I've just been watching reports and talking to folks how they've been doing it. I know some guys a little bit south of here down at Fulton. I talked to a guy I work with today, and he done good this weekend down at Fulton. But I have not been down that way at all this year, and barely got down there last year. Had a tournament or two down there, but hadn't got down there here lately. Just don't go down that way a whole lot. Mainly stay up here around Pickwick and Bay Springs. But I know they've been doing real good on Bay Springs here lately. I've seen some reports. Not sure what everybody's been catching them on. Most time people won't tell you. But this time of year, if I had to guess, and going on the history, it would be rattle traps is really on fire right now. Especially a red rattle trap. That's usually on the Tennessee River, and that's usually in the springtime. That's really a hot bait. I know that the classic that Ot Defoe won here last week, he caught his on a red. It was a rattle trap. I'm not sure of the brand. I think it was a Sebile, maybe. I could be wrong on that. I watched the video today. But it was a red rattle trap that Ot Defoe won the classic on, which was up there on Tennessee River, which is kind of classic for this time of year. Charles Hinton, can't wait to see what MLF does here. I would love to see what the MLF does. That's going to be airing this week, so I'm not sure if I'll get a chance to watch that too much. I love watching Major League Fishing, and that is just a really good format, and I think that's going to, got a lot of future. I like watching it. It's kind of like NASCAR. You watch it for the car wrecks. You watch it to see who's going to get a penalty. Stephen Guthrie only caught one spotted bass this year on a Picasso shock blade. Picasso's got some good stuff. Spinnerbaits are good, but I haven't done any good on a spinnerbait. When I went this past week, I caught mine on a Texas rigged Yum Dinger. It was a watermelon red and a Yum Dinger, and I actually ran into a guy in a cove, and I wasn't catching nothing. And he was got to talking to him. He told me what he was catching, and I swapped over and started catching. So I appreciate that. If you see me out there and if I'm catching them, if you ask me, I'm going to tell you, and I'll tell you the truth. And if I ain't catching them, I'm going to ask you what you're catching them on. That's for sure. But I'm excited to see Major League Fishing this year. I love to watch it. And looking forward to warmer temperatures as well. Because I'm tired of the cold weather here. Actually, I don't know if you guys follow me too much on social media, Instagram and Facebook. I got a kayak here recently. And I got a Vibe Yellowfin 100. And I'm looking forward to doing a lot of kayak fishing this year. I'm working on now getting me a crate and some rod holders and an anchor trolley and getting that set up. So hopefully within the next couple of weeks I'll have that done and be able to go out and film on some kayak videos. And I really enjoyed it the first time I took it out, and looking forward to a lot of kayak trips this year. Is anybody on here regularly fish out of a kayak, or have you done any good before on a kayak? I took mine out just for a test run and really enjoyed it a couple of weeks ago, and just kind of got out there and paddled, learning how to get in and out of it, and not fall out of it. So hopefully I won't fall out and lose a bunch of gear this year. So looking forward to that as well. What's some of your guys' top baits for the pre-spawn? I know that for me, I usually typically do good on a rattle trap, as I said before. A Ned rig, I've done pretty good on that, and actually a small swim bait. I've done good on a maybe like a 3.5-inch swim bait, either a Shadowlicious or just a small ribbed swim bait, either in like a white or like a kind of a bluegill color. That's really been good for me on maybe like an 1/8-inch ball head. I've really done good on that during pre-spawn, and maybe a jig as well, and some type of soft plastic. Brandon Benson, shaky head worm working for me right now. Fish don't seem to be super shallow quite yet. I agree with you, Brandon. I'm not sure where you fish at, but here the fish that I caught were shallow, which I'm primarily a shallow water fisherman. I know it's kind of odd being on Pickwick. Most of the time people fish ledges, but I don't. I fish mostly shallow. The fish that I did catch were really shallow, but they were very small fish. I'm guessing that they were just males kind of looking for a spot to make a bed for those females. But didn't catch anything of any size. But hopefully with the warming weather we're having and with the raising the water here slowly, then that will drive those bigger females up, and then it's going to get better. Let's see here. Dale looks for good information. I'm headed to the Harris Chain in Florida for the first time, fishing in the Paralyzed Veterans of America Bass Tour Tournament. Well, congratulations. Hope to get to Chickamauga soon. Never been there before either. New to bass fishing. Need all the help I can get. God's blessing to all. Live in Kentucky. Well, you live in Kentucky. You're not too far away. I'm not sure what part of Kentucky, but if you're close to Kentucky Lake, that's kind of a big ledge fishing spot. Harris Chain is a great fishery down there. Anything gambler, I hear, works in Florida. Any kind of gambler baits, that's kind of what most folks throw while they're down there. Chris Hutton hollered me if you ever have any interest in putting a set of blue water LEDs on that yak. Well, that would be nice. If I fish any, I doubt I fish any tournaments, but if I do, I'll need some type of lighting. But if I do, Chris, I'll holler at you. Let's see here. Bradley Gotch, hey Ernest, how you doing, Brandon? Our first couple tournaments at Bay and Pickwick were canceled due to the weather. Fished Lake Lamar Bruce last Saturday. I hear Lake Lamar Bruce, I've seen some fish come out of there here lately, and they were pretty nice. Lake Lamar is a great lake. It's a very scenic lake. It's very pretty to fish, and there's a lot of shallow cover. But it gets fished a lot. It gets a lot of pressure. I think they have a tournament there during the week, and I think on the weekends as well. But that's a good lake. I've caught some nice fish out of there, and I've enjoyed it every time I've been down there. Hope to get down there probably as soon as I get my kayak ready. I may make a trip down there to Lake Lamar Bruce. So if you guys see me down there, just come on over and say hey. Gambler baits, yeah. Thank you, brother. Got some gambler baits. Gambler baits are good. I see, I don't know if you guys watch YouTube very much, but I follow Mikey Balls. He's down at around the Lake Okeechobee area. A lot of those lakes down there, and he's always got gamblers, which I think he's kind of hooked up with Gambler. But he makes some really good videos, and he catches some giant fish down there. Especially seen him, don't know if he's on the Harris chain, but I've seen him fish a mag Ned rig, which I think is essentially a big gambler ace, which is kind of like a Cinco, but he'll cut it in half and put it on like a 3/8 ounce ball head, which is, you know, I think Gambler sells something like that. It looks like a Ned rig, but it's just a big ball head. But it's like a 3/8 size, and I've seen him fish really deep, like 20 feet deep. He catch some giant fish, but he's good down there. So if you guys get a chance to watch Mikey Balls on YouTube, check him out, especially if you guys are going to Florida. Or, you know, if you guys follow JT Kinney, he's down there around the Palm Bay area, and I think around the Harris chain a lot. So check out JT Kinney as well. Do any of you guys on here fish out of a kayak, or have you ever fished out of a kayak? If you do, I'll take any kind of tips that you got. I'm very new to that, and but I'm very excited about it at the same time. I'm not going to be fishing any tournaments this year, so I'll be fishing out of a kayak a lot when we go camping as well. So and I'll try to film that as much as I can and show you guys that on my YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. I appreciate everybody jumping on here and following around. And if you guys camp this year, if you do you go fishing where you go, or do you just go and hang out? We camp a lot, especially this time of year. We try to go as much as we can. And we love to camp. Brandon Benson had a couple decent days at Lake Monroe, too. Where is Lake Monroe? I've heard of that lake, but I'm not real sure where it is at. I hear that Davis Lake is good as well down near Pontotoc. They've got a campground down there, and we're looking into maybe doing a camping trip or so down there. And I know that that lake, I've heard reports that it's got some really good fish in it. But I've not been down there before, so if anybody's been down there, and if you got any tips or information on that lake, I'd love to hear them. All right, guys, I think I got a 9-pounder at Davis last year. Wow, that's great, Brandon. That's a hoss right there. I think is that your personal best down there, 9 pounds? Well, I think my personal best is 7 and change, and I got it at Tippah County Lake. Has anybody been to Tippah County Lake this year? I heard that they were had the boat ramp closed because they were going to work on it, which I was glad to hear because it was terrible. But I don't know if it's opened up yet or not. I looked on the Mississippi Department of Wildlife page as far as fish reports go, and there have been some reports of nice numbers of bass caught out of there, but I don't know if it's from the bank or a kayak or John boat or what. Tippah is good to go. Good. And I hope they've got that ramp fixed, because I went to the ramp. It was horrible last year. I really didn't. It's like you go and then it just drops. But tried to call them a couple of times to kind of get some reports down there, and I never could get anybody to answer the phone. But hopefully I'll get a chance to go down there pretty soon, because I did catch my personal best out of Tippah Lake, and I'm looking forward to going back and maybe bettering that. And that was a couple of years ago, and it was in the dead of summer. The fish was kind of skinny. If it would have been, maybe fall or pre-spawn, I think that fish would have went probably 9 pounds, but it was very skinny. It was like 7 and change. So looking forward to going back there. Devin Millis moved to Oxford, Mississippi in January of this year from South Mississippi. Looking for some lakes to hit up. Got any lakes you prefer in North Mississippi? Obviously, besides Pickwick. Well, if you're in Oxford, there's some really good lakes close to Oxford. Sardis is a good lake. Any of those lakes down through there. Sardis, Archibald and Enid, I think they're pretty close to Oxford. If you get up towards Davis Lake is pretty close to that. I think it's between maybe Tupelo or Pontotoc and Oxford. It's relatively close to Oxford. I'm trying to think, if you come plumb over to the waterway at Fulton, it's not too far. It's maybe an hour and a half drive from Oxford if you want to go that far. But there's a lot of good lakes around there. I'm trying to think. Columbus Lake, that may be too far from Oxford. But any of those state lakes, they're really good. If you get up towards Tupelo area, then Lake Lamar Bruce. Brandon says Puskus Lake would be a good choice, close to Oxford. Never heard of that lake, but sounds pretty promising. Speaking of Tupelo, has anybody fished Elvis Presley Lake lately? The last time I asked about it, it wasn't fishing real good. And I'm not sure if you could get in there with a boat. Has anybody fished Elvis Presley Lake lately? I think I have fished it once, but it had to be 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. Would love to maybe go back down there and check that out sometime. Also, if you're around Oxford, any watershed lake, I don't know what kind of boat you've got, but if you've got a John boat or kayak, any kind of watershed lake would be pretty good. See some people on here I hadn't seen in a while. Good to see everybody joining in tonight. Like I say, if you got any questions or comments, just post them in the comment section, and if I can't answer them, maybe somebody on here can. Blake Jeffries, how you doing? Blake, are you still on here? Let's see here who's watching. I know Blake went fishing this weekend if he's still on here. You pronounced my last name correctly. Well, thank you, Devin. I appreciate it. Thanks for the advice. Best of luck to you as well. Do you got a YouTube? I do have a YouTube channel, and I like it. It is Ernest Cold Fishing. Appreciate if anybody wants to check that out. Let me see if I can post a link here in the comments myself. Hopefully I didn't spell that wrong. Yeah, just look me up Ernest Cold Fishing on YouTube. There it is, it popped up. And I'd appreciate you guys watching. If you see something you like, comment on it. Share it if you want. Or don't. But appreciate you giving me a sub. I just now reached a good threshold on there. 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, and finally got my channel monetized. So I appreciate all the support I got on that. I worked real hard to get there, and I appreciate everybody that did help me out on that. Let's see here. All right. Good to see everybody as well tonight. See a few people has joined in. See John Isbell. John, I know you're a big crappie fisherman. You and Mike been catching a lot. I hear the crappie bite right now on Bickwick is really, really good. I don't really crappie fish myself, but I hear that the crappie is really, really doing good. I've seen some reports of people catching 100 a day, off just a couple of spots. So that crappie bite is really on fire. Yeah. Like to eat crappie. Let's see here. All right, guys, I think I've been on here about 30 minutes now, and anybody got any other questions or comments or suggestions for fishing this spring? Please post them below. We need all the help we can get. We're here to help each other. All right, guys, like I said, I'm going to probably start wrapping this live stream up. If you guys don't have any more questions or comments. Let's see here. Lake Monroe is located in Amory, just a few miles off Highway 45, just below Nettleton. What's good color for stained water? That would probably be chartreuse is good. If it depends on what you're throwing. If you're throwing a plastic, I would say black and blue. Or also a black and blue chatterbait's good. Or that, other than black and blue, probably white or white and chartreuse. Something that, if you're throwing a moving bait, like a crankbait, something that will make a lot of noise and a lot of vibration. Rattle trap's good as well, and stained water. This time of year, a red one is really good. Hope that answers your question. Whitley Miles. I think it's. All right, guys, there's no other questions or comments. I think I'm going to wrap this up for tonight. I appreciate everybody watching, and please go to my YouTube page as well. I'll post this live stream here in a day or so. If you want to go back and watch it in case you missed something, please subscribe to that as well. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook and, you know, the whole 9 yards. But I appreciate it once again. Thank you guys for stopping by, and appreciate the watching and the supports and the likes and everything like that. And until next time, we'll see you guys down the road.